Hello, my name is Kevin Sneddon, and today I'll be interviewing my roommate Mike Galicio, who's also in our comp class. And my topic is about how violent video games affect one's behavior. Alright. So Mike, what kind of experience do you have playing violent video games?
I have a lot of experience. My friends and I, we all grew up playing video games that are considered violent.
Alright, and would you consider yourself someone that plays these games often, or just how often would you do you play these games on a weekly basis?
I played a lot more when I was younger. I played a lot of Xbox in middle school and freshman year of high school, but now I slowed down a little bit. I still do play video games, but not as much as I used to.
And do you think that playing these violent video games over the years has affected your behavior in any way? Any changes just to your behavior that you've noticed at all, or other people may have noticed?
No, not really. When I'm playing the games and something frustrating happens, obviously I'll get a little upset, but I won't take that anger outside of the video game, and I won't take that anger onto anyone.
And do you think that violent video games could affect others in maybe a negative way or even a positive way?
I think it could definitely affect people negatively or positively. It depends on the person. Some could find an escape in video games away from life, and that could help them out if they're going through tough times. I feel like people could be negatively affected by this, but I feel like it's a very small percentage. I don't feel that there can be that many people out there who would let a video game just completely change their attitude towards life. So I just don't think that's really a big issue.
And now you said that I'm sure that you've seen articles like in the on the newspaper or online that link violent video games to violent shooters such as like the Columbine shooters. Why do you think this happens so much?
I feel like it's an easy excuse to blame a school shooting. No one knows like why someone would actually do that. That's just a horrible thing that could happen. I think saying a violent video game is just an excuse. There's obviously a lot of other factors that need to be checked. Besides that, you can't solely blame it on the video games.
All right, interesting. I was just about to ask you what do you think about how it is often ignored that like many times that these violent shooters suffer from many like different mental problems and stuff like that. Like, why do you think that this is ignored so much and not talked about?
Again, I think it's just an excuse. Obviously, if someone has a mental issue, I don't think it derives from the video game itself. I guess if you like ostracize yourself from the real world and just play video games 24/7, I guess that could entirely change your attitude about life. But I just don't see it being that like influential over someone.
And do you think that these issues deserve to be talked about more and that they shouldn't be sidetracked for other issues like this?
What do you mean by that?
Like, just talking about like mental health problems more in like society and stuff like that because it's clearly a problem.
Okay. On the topic of relating to your topic, I think if someone has a mental issue and they blame video or they put partial amount of the blame on video games, I think that's a little ridiculous. Someone has a mental issue, clearly that they're not thinking straight, and the video games, I mean, it could persuade them, but they have mental issues, like as you're talking about, like the Columbine shooting. Like they have a lot of other like stuff going on in their lives that is clearly terrible, so they resort to the video games to get away from that. But I think video games are more of a retreat rather than just straight up like making someone want to shoot up the school, like you were saying. Like I don't think that could. I don't even think that's possible. Like I don't think it could possibly lead to that. Could not get that out.
Other problems that violent video game studies another thing that like violent video game studies suffer from is that a 2015 meta-analysis done by clinical psychologist Christopher Ferguson found that there is significant publication bias and other issues in research that is done on violent video games and how they affect behavior. Do you know anything about publication bias or what it is?
Publication bias, I believe it's when someone writes about a topic and they put their personal views over other factors that should be equally heavy in like the consideration. But yeah, I don't know too much about it.
So basically it just means that studies with a positive result, or say a result that says violent video games do negatively affect behavior, are more oftenly published than results that say otherwise, or negative results. And this could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe the researcher wants to support their further hypothesis, or they think it will have a better headline, or anything like that. Why do you think this happens so much, or why is it so relevant in the field of violent video games?
Like you were saying, to get headlines to be more publicized, I feel like it's an easy way out. It's a topic that relates to everyone because a majority of people play video games. So I think that having that headline would just be easy for someone.
All right, and lastly, what do you think could be done to change how society sees violent video games, maybe to make them see it less negatively?
I think a lot more research should be done, and much more thoroughly than it has been in the past. I think on this research, there should be people who have experience playing violent video games talking about how it personally affected them. They should have a lot of people who do that, and they could actually get more accurate results, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for answering my questions, and that's it.